Welcome to Making HERstory. This isn't polished success stories. This is the fire, the chaos, the gut punch truth of women who refuse to play small. The real, feral stories. The messy, bold, audacious stories that flip the table and set shit on fire. This is where we roar. It's Ashley Crabb. Buckle up, babe. We're making HERstory. Most women aren't afraid to tell their story. They're afraid to tell the version of their story that would change how people see them. In case we haven't met yet, it's Ashley Crabb, and I help feral females turn their raw, unpolished story into brands, events, and movements that leave a legacy, creating transformation through truth, not through performance, polish, or perfection. We build your business, work, and life with audacious, rooted realness. Some people say that a story is the longest way to get to a point. And while there is some truth behind that, a story is the shortest way to someone's memory. And it is the fastest way to change how someone thinks, feels, and acts. Because stories don't just inform us, they transform us. They move us emotionally, physically. They create choices. And within those choices is where transformation happens. I'm really excited to have you back for another episode of Making HERstory, the first episode of 2026. And I just want to recenter us around the fact that as women, we need to take the stories that we have lived, survived, buried, and softened, and we need to translate them in a way that connects us, in a way that other women can feel them, but in a way that feels like us. And I know that I am not the only one focused on this. I know that you're focused on this. I know that you are so sick of trying to show up in this extremely polished version of yourself. I know that you are so sick of trying to be palatable. I know that you are tired of not being real with yourself and the world. And this podcast isn't necessarily about content tips. It's not necessarily about marketing hacks. And it is absolutely not about telling your story once and moving on. This space, this room, this movement that we are creating here with Making HERstory is a space for women to truly stop shrinking, to truly stop editing themselves, and to stop betraying the truth of who they are, the truth of who I am, the truth of who we are, right? Because your story isn't just something you tell. It's not something you just tell once. Your story is something you live. It is something you are living every single day. And I am so honored to have you in a space where we share them. And here's the real problem that I know I've struggled with, and I think that so many of us are struggling with, is the way that we have been taught to tell our stories, or the way that we have been conditioned to believe our stories need to be. Like, we've been taught that our stories should be neat, that there should be a linear path, that like there should be a clear beginning, middle, and end. And that if we keep working at them long enough, if we keep polishing them enough, like softening them so that they can appease more people and remove some of that discomfort that we know we're going to trigger within others, that like our stories will then become acceptable, that our stories will become stories of authority, of credibility, right? But that's not true connection. That's not true understanding. Like, that's just packaging. That's just the way you can package this beautiful gift that you have to give to the world. And I think the part that so many of us miss is that where a polished, edited, watered down version of your story might sound good and acceptable, it's not going to land. It's not going to land with the women who need to hear it. It's not going to land deep within yourself. Like, it's just not going to resonate because no one connects to perfection. They connect to recognition. They connect to the feeling resonating within them when they hear your story. And if like you're thinking, oh, my story is forgettable, or your story isn't like doing what you want it to do, it's not because your story's small. It's not because your story is wrong. It's because you've been trying to tell this version of your story that is safe and digestible, and that's not you. I want us to think about what makes a great story, because I think we kind of need to like reverse engineer this, right? Great stories don't start necessarily with the speaker, right? Great, yes, you are the speaker. You are, the main character of your story, but they don't start with you. They start with the listener. They start with who you're telling your story to. And I know that like in the business world, in the marketing world, in the content world, it's like your ideal audience, right? So I mean, yes, we're gonna pound that idea super, super hard into our brains, right? Because it's the truth. You need to craft a story in a way that creates connection with the people who you actually want to hear it, right? Like, who are you actually speaking to? Are you speaking to some super professional, tight-zipped person? Or are you speaking to the raw, authentic, audacious, feral, rooted woman who you know is meant to walk alongside you, right? Like, who are you speaking to? What is she worried about? Probably the same things you're worried about. Like, what noise is all around her? What noise is sitting between her and the transformation that you are offering her? The power in a great story is the common thread between your story and hers. And in a world where we are taught like to be polar opposites, to, focus so much on our differences, our common thread is so much more vibrant than that, right? But that's where we get stuck. We get stuck because we're afraid to show and tell that radically real version of our story, the messy version, the unfinished version, the version where we didn't have all the answers, right? The version of still becoming. And we get stuck there because we are so afraid of how we will be perceived. We are so afraid of being misunderstood. So we generalize ourselves. So we slowly dim that light within our story. And when we do that, when we generalize ourselves, we lose every single thing that would have made another woman stop and go, holy shit, she gets me, she sees me, she understands me. And I think so many of us think that we need more authority, we need more credibility, we need more education, certificate, experience, right? But when you go searching for that, when you go searching for those things through editing your story, right, you actually lose all of that. You lose your authority. You lose your credibility because you're not telling your truth. You have lost trust, right? And your magnetism cannot be sticky from a place that is not truthful. And it's not because you're not powerful. You are so fucking powerful. Your story is so fucking powerful. You are not letting yourself feel that power. You are not letting yourself be felt by other people, right? Like, you don't need a bigger platform. You don't need more credentials or outside validation. You don't need any of that, right? You already have the most magnetic thing you'll ever need inside of you. Your story, yours, is enough because no one else can tell that story. That's your authority. No one else can be you. And the longer you have this mindset that you need more to be worthy and for your story to have value in it, the longer you keep that all to yourself, the longer you deny other women the spark that they need to ignite their own story. Like stories, human beings, we do not exist to be hoarded, to be silenced, to be boxed up and put away for a later point in time, right? We exist, our stories exist to be released. So here's the truth that I want you to walk away with today. The truth is, it's not that everyone has a story. It's that everyone is a story. You are a story. You are a living, breathing legacy. We are living anthologies. We have beginnings, we have middles, we come to an end. Like, we have pivots and plot twists. We have supporting characters. We have unsupportive characters. We have protagonists and antagonists. Like, we are the story. We have defeats that later reveal themselves as preparation and divine intervention, right? Like, that is us. We are the freaking story. And when we learn how to tell our stories with that rooted audacity, with that feral fucking realness, we do not just connect. We build trust. We establish authority. We create transformation within ourselves, around us, within the community. We create that movement. That is how visionaries are born. That is how trailblazers lead. That is how women stop shrinking and start shaping the world through what we have lived. I hope this episode hit. I hope this episode was a good first episode to go into this year with, because I want you to remember that you, as the story you are, as the legacy that you are, you need to let this year be the year that you stop telling the polished version of your story. Your story does not need fixed, right? Your story does not need to be more. It doesn't need to be less. It doesn't need to be anything other than it is. You just need to fucking own it. You just need to own your story and learn how to tell it. And I want to be along for the ride while you learn how to do that. So what you can do is you can download my Tell Your Stories Fire Starter. That's going to kickstart you into gear. It's going to start pulling out the pieces of your story that are going to shape everything that you're building. And I would also love if you jumped on a 30-minute vibe check with me. Book a 30-minute call. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about what's working, what's not working, what's blocking you, and what you're building. So just start telling your story, babe. Just start telling the story that you keep swallowing, because it is your identity, it is your leadership, it is your legacy, and this year is the year that you need to let it be heard. I'll talk to you next week. You've been listening to Making HERstory. Remember, your story isn't optional. It's your fire, your power, and the heartbeat of every space you build. So take up space, tell it raw, and keep building the kind of legacy that can't be ignored. It's Ashley Crabb, and I'll be back with more bold, brave, feral stories soon. And if you want to stay feral with me, hit subscribe, share this with your sisters, and let's make HERstory louder together.